Hey, how you going, guys? Mick here of Cartel, back with another kick-ass beer review. Now I'm reviewing the Simcoe IPA. So yes, this is probably the third video in a row on the same day. Might get boring for some, it's not boring for me because I need to do this. This is part of the video log. This is for myself. This is about me pushing forward, developing the videos, doing the reviews, knowing where I'm heading, knowing what I've done, knowing what I've tried, and so here we are. At the moment, Hop Cartel, we are experimenting quite heavily with different varieties of brewing, so IPAs, pale ales, meads, braggots, citrus wines. Everything is going on here at the Hop Cartel. We've got shit everywhere. There's fucking fermenters over here, there's fermenters over there, there's carboys from arsehole to breakfast, because we're just playing with so many different things, so many elements. I get lost. There's a rabbit hole when it comes to YouTube, there's a rabbit hole when it comes to experimental brewing, there's a rabbit hole in Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Nah, I don't go to Twitter anymore. There's no rabbit hole in Twitter. Twitter is it's a bitch's world. Some might say that about Instagram, but the thing is, I develop and receive a lot of information through those avenues that I choose to go down. So today, Simcoe IPA. This particular keg's been sitting under cold storage, under CO2 for around about 4 months. We're looking at December. It is a base IPA recipe using Simcoe. We've pushed Simcoe pretty hard. I've not had much luck with Simcoe over, say, the last 12 to 18 months. I really want it to work for me. I want Simcoe to be one of those hops that I know I can rely on. I know where to use it in certain brewing processes, and at the moment it's not working. It hasn't worked with this one. Don't get me wrong, I have tried it. And previously to this, we used Simcoe as part of a club swap, a club I'm no longer a part of, for personal reasons. There's no development there for me. Everything's around what Hop Cartel does and the throw-offs from Hop Cartel. So here we have it. Simcoe IPA. Let's just get into it and talk about this particular beer. So previously all I got from this was the woody and very earthy side of Simcoe. Not something that a lot of people expect. When they think about Simcoe, they think American hops with big punches and throwdowns of particular descriptors. So you get those big descriptors of mixed fruits and tropical sort of things, and an element that these guys just really want to sell on. So out of all the hops I've used that I've allowed to age a little bit in particular beers, the Simcoe really is the worst. It's nothing but earth and wood, and those are the elements you can get from cheaper and more versatile hops, particularly the European styles, the Hirschbruckers, the East Kent Goldings, variety of different Goldings, and you know, some of those German ones as well, where pretty much a lot of the profiles and the varietal differences are quite the same. Varietal difference being the name, the outcome not being so much different, and there's not much that really comes across in a lot of those European ones that is real different. So you get some that they're a little bit fruity, still spicy. Others, it's just all about spice and earth, but you get different elements of spice and earth through some of those European varieties. Simcoe, boom. One of those varieties that I've picked up on that has not produced really well through some of the beers that I've done. It's particularly not suited to single malt beers, so smash beers. I won't go there again. And it's not the fact that some of my beers become oxidised through that process, but it was that it just didn't sit well. It didn't sit well. What we had, Maris Otter and Simcoe, was the only hop available through that challenge. Doesn't work. It won't work. So there wasn't a lot of variance between the beers that were swapped around, apart from the fact that the system that they were brewed on. So out of 4 beers brewed on different systems across different sort of elements, some had water profiles, some had no water profiles, some were just straightforward, fucking throw them in and away we go. All beers were pretty fucking ordinary, and we're trying to be honest with the reviews. Didn't happen. Mine were fucked, and I admit that, and we just move on from that. Others just okay. So anyway, here we are. Why I did it, I don't know. I just did it. It was what was on hand. It was quite fresh. It was just given to me to brew, to provide to 2 kegs. So one for myself and one for, so they supply the hobs, they supply the system, they supply the time. I just supply the malt, and so here we have it. Simcoe IPA. It is hazy. It looks delicious. Not much of a head going on there, but aroma wise, it's beautiful. There's nothing I don't love about this beer when it puts me on the nose, or I put it on the nose, but flavour, it's dead. It's got earth and spice. Not much else going on there, so it's really destroyed the malt profile, and all I get is a little bit of hoppy goodness, or lack of hoppy goodness, where it's just a bit of earth and a bit of spice. And the keg suffered. It was still quite just a quick yank of the PRV there, and it did show that it was quite definitely still under pressure, but hasn't gone too well. It's rubbish, honestly, just rubbish. So a really good malt profile base going into this beer. Simcoe. I'm probably going to say it. Simcoe's just not for me. Not a hop that I want to do. The only injection, the only addition to a particular recipe is definitely not Simcoe. There's probably something else there. I mean, I find Mosaic pretty much the same. I'm going to get cat piss, or I'm going to get some sort of filling or flavour of being stale. Simcoe is definitely not one of those hops that performs well on its own. Just my opinion, my palate. Anyone else might have a different thing to say about it. Go right ahead, leave a comment, and let me know what you think of Simcoe in a base IPA recipe. So being a base IPA recipe, obviously got things like your pale malts, your crystals. You got to feed it up with a little bit of extra oomph in the way of something a little bit more biscuity, something that adds a little bit of slight bit of astringency and so forth. But this base, damn, I don't even think I've written it down. I think it was just a straightforward IPA base recipe, and we mucked around with it with the hop additions, being Simcoe the only one. Nah, not for me. Is it drinkable? Yeah, I'm going to drink it, and it's probably one of those beers I'm going to spread across a couple of taps, and I'm going to do a couple of a blending beers to try and get rid of it, but to waste good beers on a subpar beer, I don't think I'm going to do that too often. And we might just we might back blend this one with a little bit of something else, whether it be a mead or it be sort of a dash of braggot. I'm not going to waste huge amounts of beer to try and make it taste better. But that's it, you know, like one of my own, truthfully, a negative review. Cheers.